And on the next Caregiver SOS on Air, we talk with Felicia Gibson. Carol's
Dennis?
Todd Marquardt is sponsored by the Marquardt Law Firm and does not attempt to solve your individual legal problems upon the basis of information contained herein. Instead, contact an attorney to discuss the specific facts and circumstances of your unique situation. The views and opinions of this program do not reflect the views of the Salem Media Group.
Be seated.
It's time for Talk Law Radio with Todd Marquardt. Todd Marquardt, attorney at law in Texas. If you're a millionaire or a thousandaire, Talk Law Radio is now on the air. Call in with your business law question, your elder law question, veteran aid, Medicaid, build a business to get paid. 210-308-8867. Or ask a question online at marquardtlawfirm.com. That's MARQUARDT lawfirm.com. And now it's Talk Law Radio with Todd Marquardt.
Welcome to Talk Law Radio. I'm Todd Marquardt. Hello, Houston, South Texas, and San Antonio. Today, well, welcome back to, we're here to shine a light on those legal issue blind spots that could trip up your business or your personal life before you see them coming. We're going to be talking with Ley Wright, who is the founder of Base Buddies, a growing platform and podcast dedicated to helping military spouses build meaningful connections and navigate the realities of life. Through honest conversation and relatable content, Ley creates a space where military spouses feel seen, supported, and less alone. But first, let's check in with the financial focus with Jacob Warren, financial CEO for Successful People, who owns and operates Financial Planning HQ with his father, Steve, and brother, Joseph. And he's been an advisor for 10 years. He's passionate about working with young business owners, planning their financial success. Jacob, you love the outdoors.
I do.
And most importantly, being a husband to your wife, Catherine, and father of your two kids, Arthur and Camille.
That's correct. Yep.
Welcome back.
Thank you, Todd. It is great to be here. Excited for the show.
Awesome. We have less than a month left until the 2025 tax year deadline.
Mm-hmm.
What are some mistakes people make when it comes to tax planning?
Yeah, I think something that people tend to do is treat taxes as something that just comes up around tax time in April. For a lot of families and specifically business owners, tax planning should be a year-round thing where you're thinking about it year-round and thinking about how you can strategize and improve your situation, whether that's by saving additional money, by putting money into like retirement accounts, or making small changes, making sure that everything is very well documented. So I think the biggest switch for when I onboard like a business owner client is like, hey, we're talking about taxes in January, we're talking about taxes in June, and we want to make sure that you're set up in a way to where once April gets there, you understand, number one, what you're going to be paying, and you know that you've also kind of maximized everything else to make sure that you're paying the lowest amount possible. So that's takes a lot of collaboration with if it's a business owner, like a bookkeeper, CPA type, where we sit down in meetings just revolving around taxes and say, okay, this is, so-and-so situation. How can we make it better? Come up with some recommendations, and let's look at a tax projection so we can get them ahead of the game in April.
Yeah, there was that shoe store. You could pay more, but why?
Mm-hmm.
Pay less shoes.
Right.
And so that's why I think about income taxes.
Yeah, and that's a good point, because I I always ask people like, who wants to overpay in taxes this year? And like, obviously nobody does. And everyone's always talking about, okay, I want to pay the least amount of taxes. But the way to do that is to actually sit down and do the planning,
Right.
because there's almost always a way to improve your situation.
Awesome.
Yep.
Can you explain a little bit more about tax projections and how they can help a client?
Tax projections are an exercise that we take our business owner clients through, where we'll collaborate with their CPA, and we will talk about, okay, this is our baseline, right? We look like let's, as an example, we're going to owe $25,000 in April. How do we get that number down? Whether that's re-looking at all of their expenses to make sure they're not missing anything, that they're depreciating these they need to be depreciating, or more exciting is, okay, so you're a business owner, right? You have access to solo 401ks, SEP IRAs, your Roth IRA if you're under that income designation, and making sure that all of that is maximized. And you can slowly, I get excited when I see that number start creeping down. It's like, okay, nice. We're basically putting money from one pocket to the other. We're sending less money to the IRS, and we're also saving money for our retirement, which obviously is super important. So the tax projections are a baseline, and it's really a non-negotiable when we bring on a business owner client, to take them through that and make sure that they're very well aware. And one of the worst things that we could do for our client is have like a big surprise in April. It's like, oh, I wasn't, normally I pay nothing or 10 grand a year. This year I owe 25 grand.
Yeah, that happened to me one year. I had to pay $14,000.
Yeah, exactly. And obviously, being the financial planner, the financial CEO for my client, that reflects back on me. So we want to make sure that we have looked at absolutely everything to make sure that number is accurate, and that we're not going to go above that number. We're going to try to reduce it by making sure that we're saving and things like that.
You know what I'm excited about this year is the Trump account for babies.
Yes. Just started. I have a 4-month-old, so we just looked into that for my daughter, and really cool. I mean, it's free. Who doesn't like free money, right?
Yeah, a business can contribute up to $2,500 to their employees' babies. It's a tax deduction for the business, and I don't think it's countable income to the baby.
Very cool. Yeah. So the baby will start building their net worth when they don't even know what that means.
Yeah, they just have to file Form 4547 with their 1040.
There you go.
Sounds like you have a lot of communication with the client and their subject matter expert. Is it typical for a client and their financial advisor to do that?
Typically not. When I onboard a new client that's working with a financial advisor already, typically it's mostly revolving around investments, money management, which is a super important aspect of financial planning. But it's a little bit of a mindset shift when we come on, because we are very proactive with this type of stuff. So if you can kind of envision like working with a whole, let's say you're a successful person, you're working with a whole team of experts, right? You have your CPA, your bookkeeper, insurance expert for all the different types of insurance, your attorneys. All of these people a lot of the time are just working in their own like silo, right? They have their own expertise. They're not communicating with each other. Something that we found to be super important is to have all of these people on the same page and get them all on a meeting together and say, this is my new client, Todd. This is what's important to him. These are his goals. All of us need to be working to get Todd to where he wants to be.
I want to buy one of those robots that does the housework.
Yes. So we could plug that into your financial plan, and we can show you, hey, this is the best way to do it. But it's a little bit different than what's typically out there, and it's very, very powerful from a client's perspective. And we kind of went through this recently with a mutual client where we had, something happen in their life, and I think we had 5 maybe subject matter experts on a Zoom call together, and we were all just, okay, who's going to do what? Who's going to take care of this? Who's going to take care of this?
Right.
And we all got it done pretty quickly because we're all on the same page and we're all working towards a common goal.
So we talked about retirement, and Ley's here to talk about military spouses. So how could Financial Planning HQ help a military couple plan after they retire? Because if you go in when you're 17 and you retire when you're 37, then that's a very young age to retire. Can you help them figure out what's next?
Absolutely, yeah. So being in San Antonio, there's so many military people here, so I ran into that pretty regularly, where people retire, typically not that young. That's 37 is impressive, but early, early enough to where they're, typically still working. And once they kind of figure out what they want to do, if they want to start a business, it's a great, great opportunity for them, because having military retirement is a nice baseline. If they have any sort of disability, it's even more of a baseline to say, okay, I don't have to worry about essentially paying my bills with a new job. I have all of that covered. Do I want to start some sort of business? And it's a big shift, right, from being in the military, where a lot of times people are telling you what to do, right, to starting your own business and being your own boss. So it's a bit of a mindset shift, but that's a great opportunity for me to kind of like sit down and say, hey, this is what you want to do. This is exciting. Let's look at how to make this a reality, kind of go through what type of business to set up and things like that. So yeah.
And so
for sure.
if there's someone out there right now that thinks they want to meet with you to discuss that, how can they contact you?
Yeah, so you can reach out to me directly. My cell phone number is 210-748-1937. And if you're listening to this and it kind of resonated with you that you may be leaving money on the table when it comes to your taxes, I offer an initial consultation. Completely complimentary. We'll just have a basic conversation on the phone about your situation. And from there, we can talk about scheduling what's called a financial roadmap meeting, which we talk about a lot, which is the first meeting where we talk about all sorts of stuff outside of money. I want to know your values and goals. And so if you fit that build and you think it'd be valuable to talk about that, again, I'm Jacob Warren. My cell phone number is 210-748-1937.
Awesome. Thanks for joining us.
Of course, happy to be here. Thank you, Todd.
We'll be right back. Stay tuned. We'll be talking with Ley Wright with Base Buddies. Are you confident about your financial future? What if you had a clear financial roadmap and a team holding you accountable to make the best financial decisions no matter what? At Financial Planning HQ, Steve and his sons, Joseph and Jacob, have been helping San Antonio families since 1987 with inspiring, intelligent financial strategies. Whether it's achieving or maintaining financial independence, becoming more tax efficient, or building business wealth, we create a comprehensive, written lifetime financial strategy that's uniquely yours, based entirely on what's important to you. Don't leave your financial future to chance. Call Financial Planning HQ today at 210-685-2722. That's 210-685-2722. And take the first step towards financial clarity. That's Financial Planning HQ, inspiring financial strategies for San Antonio. Remember, 210-685-2722. What if you couldn't speak for yourself? A power of attorney ensures someone you trust can act on your behalf. I'm attorney Todd Marquardt. Let's put your plan in place now. Schedule your free consultation at marquardtlawfirm.com or call 210-530-4278. That's 210-530-4278. Do it before you die.
9:30 a.m.
Welcome back to Talk Law Radio. I'm Todd Marquardt. On the radio, on podcasts everywhere, on Facebook, on YouTube, and on talklawradio.com. Today, we're going to be talking with Ley Wright. She has an organization called Base Buddies, and I'll let you explain everything. I'm so happy to have you.
Hi, I am so excited to be here. My name's Ley. I am a military spouse here in San Antonio. So my experience as a military spouse has been just filled with beautiful moments, filled with isolation and just a little bit of confusion. I feel like people don't necessarily talk about all of the identity shifts in this lifestyle. So you're constantly adapting to new places, new routines, and while it can be exciting, it can also feel really lonely if you don't have the right support system. So I have a podcast. It's called Base Buddies, and it's basically to just shift that narrative and to give support to those military spouses in need of that said support system.
Awesome. Your energy is so powerful. I'm
Thank
just,
you.
I feel better just being in your presence here.
Thank you.
So your spouse is part of Joint Base San Antonio.
Yes, he is. So, we've been together for about 5 years. So I've been a military spouse for about 5 years, but we've been together as a whole for 7 years.
Mm-hmm.
So I've been part of this lifestyle for a really long time. We got stationed here not too long ago, and so I've met some amazing military spouses through the San Antonio JBSA Lackland. And also I've met a lot of military spouses all around the world that resonated really well with Base Buddies.
Mm-hmm.
Hmm.
I'm super interested. I did watch the show with Maddie
You
that you
did.
did, and she was a great guest for you too.
She was. She is so articulate. She's so knowledgeable in everything, really. She has her own podcast called Details in Hindsight, and her podcast is more of like Big Sister, a big
Okay.
sister letting you know what to expect.
Okay, got
So
it.
she was wonderful. She's wonderful.
So some people say that military members, and you told me this applies to spouses too,
Mhm.
they're always telling you this is what you signed up
Oh
for.
yeah. Oh my God.
But
That is.
but you say military life has no handbook, so
Mm-hmm.
you signed up for something that you don't know the rules to, I guess.
Mm-hmm, exactly. So when I say that military life doesn't have a handbook, I literally mean it doesn't have a handbook. Because there's this big saying that other civilians tell military spouses when they're going through a hard time. You knew what you signed up for, so
Mm-hmm.
you should have known better. And what a lot of people don't necessarily understand is that on paper, yes, we knew that we were getting married to a service member. We
Mm-hmm.
knew that we were going to get stationed all around the world. We knew that they would essentially get deployed. We knew that all of these things were happening, but you can't really take the human emotion out of it. And you can't expect other people not to feel a certain way when a situation is happening. Let's just say that my spouse got deployed for 11 months. Nobody would expect me to be okay with that.
Mm-hmm.
I would personally be, well, I have been personally very, very upset and sad over the situation, even though I understood the situation.
Mm-hmm.
If that makes
I
any
understand, right? The emotion's still there, even though you
Mhm.
understood
sense.
factually what was occurring.
Exactly.
That's really interesting. Um, so what finally pushed you to turn that frustration into Base Buddies podcast?
What pushed me to basically start Base Buddies was the isolation aspect of it. I knew and know so many military spouses out there that feel lonely. There's a difference between being alone and feeling lonely.
Mm-hmm.
And in my head, I was more of so thinking, why aren't we all coming together as a community and supporting one another? Why is it so hard to make friends? Why is it so hard to just come together in general? And so, not a lot of us share our stories, and not a lot of us feel comfortable sharing our stories. And so I wanted to build a platform to where military spouses felt comfortable, seen, and most importantly, understood based on the circumstances that they've been dealt with. I've talked to so many military spouses that were OGs, that their spouses back in 2006, and they've dealt with long deployments of their spouses going to Afghanistan. And I've talked to military spouses that that they just became military spouses. So different stories, different voices that all need to feel understood and seen.
Well, what you're saying sounds familiar to me. My friend Shannon is frequently on the show. We went to law school together, and she's one woman trying to heal the community by herself
Mm-hmm.
because there's so much division in
Yeah.
opinions about politics and religion and
Mhm.
everything that you can think of. People are isolating themselves
Mm-hmm.
because they don't want to have conversations about something where they know that there's going to be a disagreement.
Mm-hmm.
And so I don't think it's unique to military spouses or anyone in particular that it's hard to make friends.
In general, as an adult.
Right.
But as a military spouse, I feel like it's 10 times worse, only because we move around every 2 to 3 years.
Right, I can see that.
And so we have to start our village every 2 to 3 years. And sometimes we don't even get the chance to do so because once we do, we already have about 6 months left. And so now we have to start all over again.
Right. Interesting. I bet that's hard. So you went to University of Central Florida. How has your experience there and your background shaped the community that you want to build?
Oh, yeah. So my background definitely shaped it because I've always had that entrepreneurial mindset. So if there's a gap, I want to fill it. So I understood and I was part of that gap to where I didn't necessarily have enough friends or didn't know how to make friends. I felt isolated and alone, and I didn't have that space to feel comfortable, seen, and understood. And so I decided to make Base Buddies based on my personal feelings and feelings that I knew were shared all across this community.
They say that necessity is the mother of invention.
Oh, yeah. So this was definitely a necessity.
Cool. So for brand new military spouses right now who are feeling overwhelmed, what's the one piece of advice that you could give as someone who experienced that yourself?
I would personally say that you're not behind. You're right where you're supposed to be. Nobody has everything figured out right now, meaning that you have time to figure yourself out. Also, once you do, keep moving forward and stay steadfast because everything does get better.
Okay. So we're on 9:30 a.m. The Answer, 6:30 a.m. The Word. Also in Houston, KNTH 1070 and 103.3 FM. We're talking with Ley Wright, who put together an organization, a community, a podcast called Base Buddies. You can find her on Instagram, TikTok, YouTube,
All the
Facebook,
works.
everywhere. So
Yeah.
like and subscribe. Tell us a little bit about your mission for listeners who are just discovering you. What's your core mission and how did it grow from a podcast to a full support system?
Yeah, so the core mission of Base Buddies is connection, community, and support. It started as a podcast, but it has grown into something so much bigger. It's grown into a space to where, like I've said before, military spouses feel seen, heard, and understood, and are comfortable enough to share that story. And within military spouses sharing that story, so many military spouses that haven't feel connected. And they all connect via shared commonality.
And so you do that through one-on-one interviews.
Yes.
Is there a platform where there's conversations being had outside of the podcast?
No conversations being had outside of the podcast, at least not that I know of. I personally have conversations one-on-one with my military spouses. And of course, off camera, I talk to a lot of military spouses that want to share their story but don't want to air it out, if that makes any sense.
I have met some of those myself. I meet people that have amazing legacies that they don't want to share, and it just breaks my heart. Okay.
Yeah.
So what kind of real friendships and connections are happening that spouses weren't finding anywhere else?
Yeah, so I've seen many military spouses connect over like their shared stories, such as PCS moves. They've connected over moving to the same base, going through the same things. I've personally seen a connection firsthand. I interviewed one of my really close friends, Michaela, and another military spouse found or watched that episode and reached out to her, and now they're really good friends.
Oh, cool.
Yeah, and she's on a different part of the world, and I think that's just beautiful because that's the point of Base
Right.
Buddies is to connect everybody.
Right. Well, if you want to call Ley right now and ask her some questions about how to connect and how to navigate being a military spouse, you can call. This is Saturday. What is today? The 21st of March, 2026. Call 210-308 8867 210 308 8867, or post a comment on Facebook Live right now. Ley, how exactly does Base Buddies help families feel seen, heard, and less alone?
So it helps by normalizing the experience. So when you hear about somebody struggling to make friends or losing their sense of identity, or starting over again, you realize it's not just you.
Mm-hmm.
And so you realize, oh, okay, so this isn't just me. I have so many other people experiencing the same thing. So normalizing that experience that can sometimes make you feel isolated.
Yeah, that's a great idea, and you can share ideas together.
Exactly.
Since you're right here in San Antonio and so many families at Joint Base San Antonio, have you seen a strong response from your in-person community?
Yeah, so we're actually still growing. I've met up and I've talked to many military spouses here in San Antonio, and they're lovely. But I've also had the pleasure of speaking to spouses all around the world, like Japan, South
Mm-hmm.
Korea, the UK. But as of right now, we're still growing. But yes.
Cool. So if you want to help Ley Wright grow Base Buddies, find her on Instagram, TikTok, Facebook. Where else?
All platforms.
All platforms. Or what's the website?
It's base-buddies.com.
base-buddies.com. We're going to be talking about Sinners and Saints and Legacy 2. So stay tuned. We'll be right back.
Todd Marquardt is sponsored by the Marquardt Law Firm and does not attempt to solve your individual legal problems upon the basis of information contained herein. Instead, contact an attorney to discuss the specific facts and circumstances of your unique situation. The views and opinions of this program do not reflect the views of the Salem Media Group.
Welcome back to Talk Law Radio. I'm Todd Marquardt. In the beginning, there was one law. God had one law. Don't eat from the fruit of that tree. Then he gave Moses the 10 Commandments. And now we have municipal, state, and federal lawmakers that won't stop creating new laws that might impact you without you knowing it. So tune in to Talk Law Radio every Saturday and Sunday afternoon on podcasts, Facebook, or YouTube. If you want to subscribe to YouTube, go to YouTube, click the magnifying glass, search for Talk Law Radio, and look for the Lady Justice logo in the red, white, and blue colors. This is the Sinners and Saints segment. So, you know that I like the Sinners and Saints segment because Martin Luther, the famous theologian that nailed his 95 Thesis to the church door, said that we're all sinners and saints. We were born sinners, but because of Jesus' sacrifice and resurrection, we're absolved. And so I like to talk about somebody that's done something bad or somebody that's done something good. And so today, I want to ask you about Kendall Brown's TMZ interview. She's criticizing President Trump for striking Iran.
Oh,
And the reason it's relevant to the show
Okay.
is because she's a military spouse.
I see. I think I saw this.
And so I wanted to ask you, should she be speaking for her husband? I saw the video. She said, my husband is upset about President Trump striking Iran.
No, that's crazy. I think that us as military spouses, we're supposed to be next to our service member and support them no matter what decision or no matter what they're going through. And it's okay to have your own opinion. It is okay to have your own opinion. However, I think going on TMC was just a little bit too crazy.
Yeah, and so would he get in trouble for that?
I have no idea. You know what? That's a really good question to ask my husband. That's a really good question. I
Yeah.
think that he would, only because his wife is speaking on things that he's doing. And I've heard throughout the military spouse just grapevine that it could be a violation at OPSEC.
Yeah, I was going to ask you about that next. Are there military rules or guidelines that restrict a spouse speaking out?
I mean, you can definitely not. I mean, you can't speak negatively about you can, but it's very frowned upon. Speak negatively on your spouse and what they're doing, or just speak on what they're doing in general if they are doing something that no one is really supposed to know.
Yeah,
Because it could be a violation of OPSEC.
OPSEC stands for Operational Security.
Yes.
And I learned through Google, tell me if this is right or if you've heard of it, or if you're listening right now, call 210-308-8867 and join our conversation. 210-308-8867. 5-step OPSEC process. Identify critical information, determine what needs protection, analyze threats, identify potential adversaries and their capabilities, analyze vulnerabilities, find weak points in security, assess risk, evaluate the likelihood of exploitation, and apply countermeasures, implement measures to protect information.
Yeah, so basically just protecting that service member's information because you don't really know who is listening, especially with the things that are going on right now. Just saying that your service member is deployed anywhere in the Middle East or just anywhere in general could be a violation because that service member is there.
Right, and then they could be in jeopardy, you could be in jeopardy, the mission could be in jeopardy.
Exactly.
Here's another surprise question.
Okay.
What is the mood of spouses about the war in Iran? And if you don't want to answer that, what is the mood of spouses when like a whole group from one base gets deployed all at the same time, does that bring you together as spouses? Do you call each other, or are there group meetings?
You know what? One of the biggest things when it comes to our service members being deployed just anywhere, doesn't have to be the conflict that's going on, is just being there for each other. Some of us are there for each other, and some of us aren't necessarily there for each other because we prefer isolation. Some of us do. But in relation to what's going on overseas, one of the worst things that you can ask a military spouse is, have you seen the news?
Mm-hmm.
Have you seen the news? Is your spouse okay? Are they coming back? When are they coming back? That's just adding negative stress onto the military spouse per se, along with the family, of course.
I'm sure that's really important. So if you're watching right now, take notes about that. So if they want to be supportive, if you're a family or a friend, what should they say to help support you in that time of uncertainty and loneliness?
Honestly, just be there. Don't bring up any negativity surrounding the deployment or the fact that the service member just isn't present. Just be there, buy them their favorite snacks, babysit, or just go on solo dates, take them out, go to brunch. Just do something that they specifically like. That way they feel like they're being seen, heard, and understood. That's a really big thing. When it comes to family, sometimes family doesn't understand where we stand when it comes to how we feel. And so they try to be there in ways that don't necessarily are really that great, such as, have you heard the news?
Right.
And have you talked to them, or whatever the case may be. But realistically, the best thing that you can do is just sometimes sit with them.
Yeah.
And acknowledge their presence.
That's really important advice. It made me think of your spouse and your podcasting, and is he supportive of this?
Oh yeah. Oh my God. That man is my best friend. Oh my God. He supports me throughout absolutely everything that I do. If I decided that I wanted to wear a paper bag over my head for the rest of my life, he'd be like, "Go ahead, girl. You got this."
Does he watch the episodes?
He does. He does. Or at least the clips on TikTok, because he's usually home when I'm recording them.
Okay.
So
How fun.
yeah, he actually he's not really into social media that much, but whenever I first started doing Base Buddies, he was the first one to make a TikTok. He made a TikTok, and I'm his only follower. He's like, "I'll be your first follower."
Okay, I want to talk about some hidden legal issue blind spots before we run out of time. So what are some legal issue blind spots that you see that a lot of spouses go through?
Yeah, so honestly, sometimes it might not even be labeled as legal blind spots, but situations such as like breaking leases or navigating benefits or dealing with paperwork such as POAs during deployments can always be stressful and could always be confusing, I would say. So I'm not a legal expert, but I have experience with trying to break a lease, and the military spouse clause or military service member clause, to where if you're a service member, you can break your lease
Without paying fines and
exactly.
penalties.
That clause wasn't really acknowledged, along with power of attorneys. When my spouse was deployed, I got, instead of a special attorney, special power of attorney, I got a general power of attorney, and that wasn't really necessarily acknowledged. So more of so just knowing how to use these legal documents,
Right.
instead of just, hey, figure it out.
Does the JAG office help with that?
In a sense, in my personal experience, I don't necessarily want to talk on anybody else's experience, but on my personal experience, it's more of so like, here you go, figure it out.
Okay. Another legal issue blind spot that spouses face, you were telling me, is when they move, with the service member to another state or even in another country if they have a specialized license
Oh,
or
yes.
certificate that gives them the right to practice medicine or law or teaching or nursing, and they move to another jurisdiction, sometimes they have to start all over.
Yeah, so that's actually really important. I'm so glad that you brought that up. I've known so many military spouses who have been stationed where I was stationed, and they had to get part-time jobs. And when I got to talk to them or got to know them, I just found out that they were an attorney or they were a nurse or they were highly educated individuals who basically gave up their career for love. And I think that there should be something legally that protects highly educated military spouses that have those licenses all over the country to basically just let them keep it and have that career on hand for them wherever they go.
Right. And the town or the jurisdiction that they're moving to is missing out on having another professional
Exactly.
in the area to serve the people.
Exactly.
So the changing the law or the regulation in the states, maybe Congress could do something to give an exemption or a nationwide license
Exactly.
to somebody who's a spouse of a military veteran. We're talking with Ley Wright. She runs a podcast and community for military spouses. You can find her at base-buddies.com. You can also find her on Instagram, Facebook, and TikTok. Look, also YouTube.
Yeah.
Go to
All
YouTube and
platforms.
subscribe. We'll be right back. Stay tuned. Are you 100% confident that no matter what happens in the financial markets, economy, or world events, you will achieve your financial goals? If not, we have a process to get your financial house in perfect order and keep it that way forever. Your financial future shouldn't be a guessing game. Planning, advice, organization, and accountability are deliverables you should expect. For over 35 years, Financial Planning HQ has been San Antonio's trusted partner for comprehensive written lifetime financial strategies. Steve and his team, including sons Joseph and Jacob, don't believe in a one-size-fits-all approach. Instead, they create a personalized financial roadmap for you based on what's important to you. As an independent registered investment advisor, they're not tied to any big corporation's products. They work for you, creating inspiring, intelligent financial strategies that put your interests first. Call Financial Planning HQ at 210-685-2722. That's 210-685-2722. What if you couldn't speak for yourself? A power of attorney ensures someone you trust can act on your behalf. I'm attorney Todd Marquardt. Let's put your plan in place now. Schedule your free consultation at marquardtlawfirm.com or call 210-530-4278. That's 210-530-4278. Do it before you die.
9:30 a.m. The Answer.
Welcome back to Talk Law Radio. I'm Todd Marquardt, and today we're talking about military spouses and base buddies with Ley Wright, who has a community and podcast. And this is the fourth segment, so we talk about legacy.
And now it's time for the Talk Law Radio Legacy Spotlight. What's your legacy? Sponsored by Marquardt Law Firm.
Marquardt Law Firm sponsors the show, and attorneys at Marquardt Law Firm focus on business and estate law, including last wills, living trusts, and tax-protected inheritance plans. It's all about legacy. And so we like to ask our guest about legacy, and you can talk about something, a family heirloom that you inherited or that you want to pass on to somebody, or life lessons, values, morals that were passed down to you from somebody special who's gone before you, or lessons that you want to pass on or impact in the community that you want to make.
Yeah, so to really put it into words, my grandma, she recently passed away.
I'm so sorry.
It's okay. It's okay. She recently passed away, but she was like a parent to me. And she was the kindest person you could ever meet.
Mm-hmm.
She was kind, genuine. She was crazy, extroverted.
Mm-hmm.
She was one of the best people you probably ever meet. But one of the things that she really instilled in me was to be kind, be gentle, and see the good in people. And I struggle with that in a sense, but after her passing, I've really tried to instill those morals into
Mm-hmm.
myself of seeing the good in everyone that I meet, regardless of what I've heard, regardless of who they are,
Mm-hmm.
just seeing the good in them. And of course, be a kinder person.
Well, that's surprising to me because you've been so kind to me.
I am kind, but oh my God, if you met her, she was just a ball of sunshine. And I could never compare to what she was. I'm gonna cry.
I love
I
that.
could never compare to what she was. And so I always want to instill those morals onto myself, especially after her passing.
Mm-hmm.
But oh my God, she was like a parent to me.
Thank you for sharing that.
Of course.
So blessed to have
Of
experienced
course.
a little bit of her sunshine through you.
Thank you. I appreciate that.
Yeah. There's another legacy I want to talk about.
Hmm.
Have you heard of Chuck Norris?
Oh my God, he recently passed.
I know. And I thought, everybody I think thought that he was going to live forever.
Yeah.
He was 86, and I read that just 6 days ago, he was sparring, to get his workout.
Okay.
Yeah, and so I think it was a shock to everybody because he
Wow.
didn't have like a long illness or anything.
I wonder how he passed.
I'm not sure.
Interesting.
But part of his legacy in my house was Walker, Texas Ranger.
Mm.
Now, I don't know if you were born yet.
No.
It was 1993 to 2001.
98.
Okay.
Yeah.
And so my oldest son was born in 1999.
Oh,
And
okay.
so it was still on at that time. And even after, reruns were very popular.
Hmm.
And when you have a toddler in the house, you can't watch whatever you want to watch. You have to watch something that's not going to corrupt the young mind.
Exactly.
And so this was a great show. I mean, it was the hero of the day,
Hmm.
solving crimes and putting bad guys in jail. And so that was something I could watch with my son. And then for decades after that, there were these memes on Facebook about how tough Chuck Norris is, and
Yeah.
they're pretty funny.
Yeah. Honestly, I'm not really too familiar with Chuck Norris or his work, though. I am a fan of Family Guy.
Oh, okay.
And Family Guy usually had skits that reference Chuck Norris, and that's how
Okay.
I know Chuck Norris.
That's awesome. Through Family Guy. Awesome. Okay, well, let's talk a little bit more about your podcast.
Of course.
I'd like for you to share some of your favorite podcasts, tell people how they can find them, and then let us know why that's one of your favorite
Oh,
podcasts
yeah.
that you've done.
Absolutely. So, honestly, all of my podcasts are special. All of them are beautifully well done. The women that go in there are absolutely amazing. Though the podcasts that really stood out to me throughout me producing them and making them would have to be these four. So it would have to be Maddie, the one that I recently did, and it was Military Has No Guidebook, because it truly does touch on how clueless most of us are when it comes to joining this life. And she is so articulate with everything that she says, and she gives great advice during that podcast. Another one would have to be Kyra. She answered a DM on Twitter. Now she's in Japan. She explains how how different it is to be an American citizen and move overseas to Japan. And she details the struggles on how to adjust to that life. And then we have Mina, not American enough, not Japanese enough. She is an American slash Japanese citizen that was born and raised in Japan. And she married a service member, and now she's here. They recently just got stationed here. And her episode is so heartfelt and emotional because she details what it was like to be an American citizen, but not deemed Japanese enough when you were born and raised in Japan.
Wow.
Yeah, so she's half black, half Japanese. And so if you're not, she explains in that episode that if you don't look a certain way, then that's when people bully you and they treat you different. And so even though you were born and raised there,
Right,
you know,
right.
language, and you're absolutely just a Japanese citizen. And so I ask her in my podcast, so how is it like coming here now? And she absolutely loves it because we're so open, we're so accepting, and it's so different from Japan, but she's now embracing her American side,
Interesting.
which is beautiful.
And so what's the best way for our listeners to find that episode? Is it by her name?
Yeah, so honestly, the best way that you can find her episode would just be to go to the Base Buddies YouTube, or just go through all of the platforms and just search up the name Not American Enough, Not Japanese Enough,
Okay.
and you'll be able to find Mina's episode.
Okay. And what does your logo look like?
My logo is a pin. So when you drop a pin, and it's like a little heart on it, so it's like a pin with a heart in the middle, because we are on the move everywhere.
And what are the colors? Just so that they can
Yeah, of course.
recognize it when they
So-
see it.
So the color is a pink heart, and then the pin is green, and then the background is just beige.
Okay. Because when I Googled Base Buddies, when I talked to you several months ago, I found so many different things.
I
There's
know.
like a baseball
Yeah.
thing that's called Base Buddy.
Yeah, we weren't really established then. Now we have a website. We're growing. We're growing so much and so well. And yeah, it's really exciting.
And it would probably be easy to find you if they search for your name
Oh,
and
yeah.
Base Buddies.
Yes.
Ley Wright, LEYWRIGHT.
Yes.
BASC, base-buddies.com.
Yes, absolutely.
Okay, I want to talk about something else. More real stories
Yeah, sure.
and everything that you've seen from these women. What have you learned?
Oh my gosh, what have I learned? I've learned so many new things. I've learned that not everything is black and white, everything is gray. I've learned that to make this big sacrifice of being a military spouse, some of us don't have to give up everything, but some of us have to give up absolutely everything. I've learned how custody battles work. I've learned how sometimes being overseas isn't really all glitz and glam. I've been wanting to be stationed in Japan for so long, but while speaking to a lot of my friends over there in Japan who are stationed over there, it's not all glitz and glam. I've learned so many things. Be patient, or more patient, kinder, empathetic, sympathetic. All of these things that I already had in me, but now I see how to instill them even more, if that makes any
Yeah,
sense.
how it applies to more situations.
Exactly.
Well, I'd like to say a prayer for you and your
Thank you.
organization and your podcast and for all the military spouses. Dear God, thank you for this day. Thank you for all the gifts and blessings that you give to us. Please forgive us for our sins, for our mistakes, for doing the wrong thing or failing to follow your will. Please help Ley Wright and her organization, Base Buddies, and her podcast to reach more military spouses, to give encouragement and be a community so that they can feel seen and heard. We pray for her success and the success of that podcast. We pray that you would help us to do everything we do for the good of your people, for our own good, and for your glory. In Jesus' name, amen.
Amen.
Okay, in 30 seconds or less, what else do you want people to know about Base Buddies?
So, Base Buddies is a platform that highlights military spouses all throughout the world. We already knew that. Base Buddies is ever growing, and we're just so full with happiness and joy and just excitement to see where Base Buddies is going. And if you're a military spouse that wants to be on the podcast, please make sure to look us up on all social medias and just send me a quick DM. I'll be more than happy to get back to you.
Awesome. Well done. 30 seconds. Thank you for being on the show.
Well, thank you for having me. It's
I
been so
enjoyed
exciting.
having you. You're one of my favorite new episodes. We'll talk to you later. I'm Todd Marquardt. Bye.
Most families don't realize they have hidden legal blind spots until it's too late. Wills, trusts, Medicaid planning, even protecting a business. These are the kinds of issues attorney Todd Marquardt helps uncover before they become problems. Todd is the host of Talk Law Radio, where each week he guides listeners through the legal challenges families, veterans, and business owners face, while showing them the practical steps to protect what matters most. Catch Talk Law Radio, Saturdays at 11 a.m. on 9:30 a.m. The Answer, 6:30 a.m. The Word, and now in Houston on AM 1070 and 103.3 FM The Answer, or anytime on YouTube. Planning isn't just about documents. It's about peace of mind, security for loved ones, and building a legacy that lasts. Don't wait for a crisis. Do it before you die.